Subaru Natsuki has died. Repeatedly, horribly, and in ways that make me question the writer's mental health. So today, we're ranking every single one of those deaths, from the merciful to the downright sadistic. Now, if you clicked on this video, you're also kinda sadistic, but I guess I can't say much since you're watching a video that I made right now. But either way, Return by Death is both an extremely useful ability as well as an extremely unpleasant one. It's super easy to think, well, I think I want to redo on this one. Why am I not dead? Alright, so let's do this. F tier is going to be the best death, S tier is going to be the worst. So, hello everybody, and welcome back to the ultimate tier list. Alright, to start, we have Death by Curse. This is without a doubt the least painful death Subaru has ever had to go through. It is as simple as dying in his sleep. This is the one and only mercy Subaru will be receiving. Next, we have the first death to the Wrathson Archbishop in Season 3. The reason why this one is in F tier is because I would argue that this death is painless. I mean, sure, it's disturbing as fuck after the fact to realize what happened, but at least in the moment you get brainwashed and head exploded. I don't think there is a better way to go out besides just dying in your sleep. The death that happens when Reinhardt kills Wrath in this scenario, in my opinion, should probably be F tier. But given the fact that Subaru's eyes aren't glowing here, there is a possibility that he felt the pain of dying this death. Being chopped in half is, well, certainly not a pleasant experience, so if this is the case, then this death is pretty goddamn brutal. But at least from my perspective, if he did, then these eyes are not the eyes of someone who lived long after that pain. In most scenarios, I think I would prefer to be killed by Wrath because she at least seems to get it out of the way quickly. There is, however, one scenario that we'll get into. I'm going to wrap all of the suicide Subaru performs under one blanket because they generally have the same effect. So these three scenes are just going to be counted as one. Now let's not overlook this because while it's in D tier, it takes some goddamn gusto to go through with this. The saving grace is that not only does he make it quick, but he's also at peace with the decision, which makes it a little more bearable. I feel like this is the part where as a YouTuber I should say, like, don't do a suicide, but I don't think y'all are exactly going to be in a rush to die after this video. Seriously though, I guess if it's something you're considering, you should reach out to somebody because I guarantee you that will never be the answer. Just don't reach out to me, I'll probably just end up trying to agree out of politeness and make everything worse. Despite the fact that I'm the founder of Yapapalooza on this channel, in real life I'm very much the type to hit you with that Irish goodbye after attending your party for 2 seconds longer than my social battery permits. This one is kind of simple. Subaru just gets sliced up. Painful, sure, but definitely my brother has had worse times than this. Specifically on the third one, he seems to die pretty fast, so I'm not gonna exactly count this one among the most painful. Of course there are worse deaths in the show, but this is still a pretty painful way to die. Now, yes, his first death is akin to his third death via the Bowel Hunter, but let's clear something up. Death for the first time is going to be scary as fuck regardless. Like, I don't care who you are, dying and then just respawning is bound to leave you shaken to some extent. Of course, after a while you'll start to get used to it, but brother, this is still a horrible thing to experience. On top of that, he has to die staring at a dead Amelia, so that's a nice little cherry on top. I personally think that this death is a little bit more brutal than given credit for because this isn't an immediately fatal wound. To die from this stab wound, you would have to bleed out to death. Sure, isn't a horrible death given the show? No, but it's still one of those deaths where if you think about it for just a little bit too long, it starts to get uncomfy. Yeah, this one is just a good old slashy slash VR, good friend the Bowel Hunter. God, I hate your guts, lady, and put on a fucking shirt while you're at it. Okay, once again, this is a death that should get a little bit more credit for its brutality factor. Not only is this man dying from, well, getting murdered, that's kind of a hilarious statement, but moving on. Not only is he getting murdered, but he is also getting cursed to death. Like, imagine someone with a chronic illness, and then Mike Tyson breaks into their room and starts ripping their limbs off. Not pleasant to think about? Well, it's not exactly a pleasant death. This one is particularly brutal not because of how he dies, but because he's actively pleading for his life when he does. And obviously after a certain point on this list, the deaths aren't exactly meant to feel like a warm hug, but this one particularly feels like insult to injury. This shit would have sent me into a villain arc, so Subaru is definitely a better person than me. Okay, this one is kind of hard for me to judge properly because by all accounts, freezing to death is bound to knock you out before you actually die, but in this specific instance, when Puck does the freezing things are bound to change. You are not being slowly frozen, it's practically instantaneous, so I'm personally more inclined to believe that Subaru is still conscious and is falling apart while he is. That is cold. Literally. On the topic of freezing, get a load of this. Same scenario, but with a beheading. Absolutely fucking not. I don't trust getting beheaded in a million years because the idea that I might still be conscious as a head separate from my body is frightening. Pause for the irony. Also, everything that leads up to this scene is arguably one of the worst chain of events to ever happen to Subaru, and he gets to punctuate it like this. Just no, absolutely not. What's next? Never mind, I'm suddenly fine with being frozen to death. This is the first of the deaths that actually made me feel like the death was happening to me. It was genuinely so disturbing that I was watching it wide-eyed because Jesus fucking Christ. I think that this is just straight up one of the worst ways to die. Stomach and bowels just freshly spilled on the floor. That's fun. There are so many levels of just absolutely fucking not that I can't even begin to just stop. I hate this and put on a fucking shirt. This death isn't particularly gruesome, but this would still have me crashing out on a biblical level. Like, imagine going through all of that shit and executing the plan perfectly based on all of the information you've been collecting, only to have to do it all over again. Here, let me put it like this. Imagine beating a Dark Souls boss and logging off only to realize that when you log back on, you didn't save. And to add insult to injury again, Julius of all people kills Subaru, which I personally think Julius is a G, but I don't think Subaru would be very pleased with that. Alright, moving on to S tier. I'm pretty sure most of you figured that this was going to be here, but oh my god, I cannot express with words. Holy fucking shit, words could not possibly express how much I don't want this death. Once again, I could feel this shit happening to me while I was watching the show. Not only do these little fuckers eat him alive, but they do it in the slowest fashion imaginable, and they also eat him from the inside out. Yeah, no, I hate that. I truly have very few fears in this world, but getting eaten alive by the hand of a million small beasts, not something like a lion that would end it quickly with a bite to the head, but specifically an animal that has no qualms with eating alive prey. Ugh, yeah, just no. I don't think y'all are talking about this one enough. Even though Wrath can hypnotize you to be happy and jovial with all sunshine and roses, she can also do shit like this. The absolute worst part about this death is that you are forced to feel all of this through the lens of a child. This death would be horrifying for anybody just because of that fact. Also, hook through the throat along with a hanging is just straight up sinister work. It is so weird that Wrath is somehow on this side of the tier list and on the other side of the tier list, but it is undeniable to me that this death is 100% one of the worst you could conjure. You are also forced to piss your pants while you're at it. Whew. So that was the ultimate tier list. This was a bit of a shorter one, but honestly I had fun making it. I don't know if it's better to make shorter videos or longer videos because I truthfully don't know how bearable I am to listen to for however long amount of time. And I actually do have some announcements this time, but before that I'm going to give a huge shout out to these guys for commenting, and also a shout out to my members for just being the best people ever. I generally don't like dragging out the videos just to keep you guys around because you guys are here for what you're here for. So if that's you, I hope you subscribe and I'll see you in the next one. And if you stay to this point, that means you're here for the announcements, so I'll begin. Bonus Level 0, my official gaming channel, is live. So if you'd like to, subscribe to that channel and you can occasionally pop in and say hi to me. I have held off on mentioning it on this channel because I am going to be so honest, I wouldn't be properly prepared to handle people on a stream. I was just kind of figuring it out on the fly, so I didn't really want to say anything. But we are officially in the quality content zone, so I will say, if you care to drop by, I'll be happy to greet you. The second announcement is this. As most of you know, I've been working on a series of my own. Originally, I was going to make it into a manga, but seeing as that would take a decent amount of time, I've opted to switch over to the light novel. Thing is though, there are 3 series that are all in one interconnected universe. One of those series is going to be into the far future, like probably when I'm a full-time YouTuber, because that's going to be a decent undertaking. The second 2, however, I am currently writing. So if you are interested in that, there should be a post up as of right now, I will link it in the description, that is a poll between the 2 series. The description for said stories will be in the comments so you can make an informed decision. For those of you who have been supporting me since the beginning, just know that as soon as I have any volumes ready, y'all will be the first to know about it, and more so if you are interested in reading it, I would be more than happy to provide some digital copies. And who knows, maybe if you're a member, you might be the first to get a physical copy. But that's enough out of me. If you want to keep playing, I'll leave a video in the outro, but it looks like there's nothing left to be said, so with that, I bid you peace, my friend.